Twyford.
Thank you. An excellent call, Mr Chair. Thank you very much. Mr Chair, I want to speak to the fact that Section 4 of the State-Owned Enterprises Act is missing from this bill, sir, and that is the clause in the section in the State-Owned Enterprise Act which requires the four energy companies that we're talking about to behave, sir, with the principles of social responsibility in mind. And that is one of the criticisms that we have of this bill, sir, is that by removing the energy companies from the principles of social responsibility, this bill, sir, and this national government are doing a terrible disservice to New Zealanders all over the country. In fact, everybody who pays a monthly electricity bill will pay the cost of this privatisation exercise, sir. And we know that we've seen there's been a number of statistics discussed in the House today that the weighted average charge for domestic electricity users, sir, buying from SOEs is $265 a year less than the average for non-state-owned enterprise suppliers. And we know, sir, and the entire country knows, that once you hand over 49% of the ownership of these companies to private investors, most likely foreign investors, there's only one direction electricity prices are going to go, and that is up. I wanted to tell a story, sir, of someone that I know very well who lives in one of the coldest cities of New Zealand. And this person lives on an invalid's benefit. They rent a flat. They pay $40 a fortnight in electricity on a top-up, sir, with the local electricity retailer. And I visited the person last week, sir, living in a one-bedroom flat in freezing conditions at the bottom of the South Island. And this person lives with one electric heater in their flat. And they don't use that electric heater because the price of electricity is too much to pay, because they cannot afford, on an invalid's benefit, to even pay the cost of heating a one-bedroom flat, sir. And in freezing conditions, in a city that you know well, sir, that is an unacceptable way for anybody to live in this country. But we know that the impact of this privatisation of these companies can only mean that power prices will go up. It's the inevitable consequence of what this national government's doing, sir, and it will mean that the price will be paid by New Zealanders in their electricity bills every single month. We know that public ownership keeps prices down. These are natural monopolies we're talking about. They are a licence to print money. And if a half share in these companies is handed over to private ownership, it's inevitable that the profit motive will drive up electricity prices. And if National had even given consideration to retaining the social responsibility clause in this legislation, so that these companies would have to ask themselves before they put prices up whether or not this was a socially responsible thing to do, whether or not it was in the interests of the people of New Zealand, then that would have been a good thing. But that's clearly so far from being a consideration for the National Party and for this government. The CEO of Contact Energy, Mr Chairman, he recently told commercial investors that they shouldn't invest in energy projects until prices rise, because a 6% return is not enough to cover the desired 8% return on capital. Well, there's two options. If the government wants to make sure that this share float is profitable for private buyers, they've only got two options. They can either raise the power prices, and boards will be legally obliged to raise power prices if they can to make larger profits, or, sir, the second option is to discount the shares and get a lower price for the asset and let buyers make a profit on the gains in the share price. So it's a very simple choice, and sir, I submit to you that this government is doing a grave disservice to New Zealanders by exempting these companies from the social responsibility clause. If they had, they might have spared New Zealanders the worst of what is surely to come, and that is rocketing electricity prices. Every New Zealander knows that power prices have gone up too much Every New Zealander knows that. No one's disputing that. Everyone in this House has acknowledged it. But if you think that this privatisation...
Dr Cam Calder.
I move the question be now put.
Kevin Haig.